guys, how are you? Welcome to another video. This video has a long introduction, and if you are wondering how to do that stuff that I did with the piping for the oil radiator, I did a video for that. I leave here up here so you to see the entire replacement of the oil and why do I do the way that I do. Just a quick heads up, use your gloves. I did not have them at the time just now, and be careful with the hot surfaces. Now today's theme is a little bit strange because black oil is a given. You just know the oil gets black with age. Well, yes, it does, and more so on diesel engines. But there are some things that you can understand and you can appreciate to understand if your engine is with a good thermostat, for example, with good injection system, and with your driving patterns, if your oil replacement schedule is good enough. Okay, so you can understand that the oil gets black because carbon deposits. But how does that happen? It is not just because the engine is working. It's because of the diesel component, of the gasoline component. As you have a combustion on the combustion chamber, not all of the fuel is burned on that process. Some of that fuel, namely even more when the car is cold, runs through the cylinder down into the oil pan. In some cases, it's so bad that you actually have a higher oil level because of the fuel that is contaminating the oil on the oil pan. Sometimes it even smells of fuel on the oil. That usually happens more on the gasoline engines, the smell, but the upper level usually happens more now on the DPF cars. So, as you can understand, that is not a good thing. The diesel is not a great lubricator for the inside of the engine. And remember, it is not pure diesel. It's badly burned diesel. It's carbon, just carbon. And that carbon will mix with the oil, and that carbon will sand the surfaces. Yes, it is really that bad. Of course, on these cars here, more modern cars, it's not so bad because the injection, the multi-jet injection, makes sure it is really, really efficient. But if we compare with my compare with my turbo diesel over there, that thing paints the oil like crazy. Every time I have a drop on the ground, it's a black spot. It looks like paint because that injection over there is really not regulated enough. Now with the modern cars, some diesel new cars have the when you remove the oil, sometimes it even looks like it came out of a gasoline engine because it can do a very good, close to perfect burn on the combustion chamber, and very little badly burned fuel comes down through the cylinders down to the oil pan. So that is why you have a black oil on a diesel engine, nothing more. Okay, it is not, well, you can appreciate the oldness of the oil by the color because of the way that the oil is contaminated with that carbon. But that is not all. Even though the oil can be very contaminated with carbon, the oil itself, the base of the oil, can be relatively good. But knowing that the carbon is very aggressive on the surfaces, I recommend you, if you have a very black oil, replace your oil more often. Like I said many times on my channel, replacing the oil, the fluids, all of the fluids of all cars more often will prolong the lifespan of all the components for a long, long, long time. Just one more thing about the oil level on the oil pan. You may start to think, now, if I have diesel contaminating my oil, the level of the oil pan will go up. And yes, that actually happens. And more on the cars that have DPF during, get out of here. When doing a regeneration, sometimes the oil, the level of the oil, we think it's just oil, but it is not. It is oil mixed with fuel, and the level goes up and up and up. That is very dangerous for the car. Okay, now everything is good with your car. For example, this one does not have DPF, and still it can have a higher level of oil on the oil pan because of a bad injector. For example, if you have a bad injector, it will piss the fuel into directly inside of the oil pan because it runs through the piston and the cylinder down into the oil pan. Now, imagine your car does not consume any oil. You run your job to your home for 6 months, for 8 months, and you see the level every day or every weekend, and everything is okay. And the minute you go to your vacation, you do, let's imagine 1,000 kilometers or 1,000 miles or whatever you want to do, and when you come back or you reach your destination, you pull on the dipstick, and the oil is missing. How can that be? So my car does not drink any oil, does not consume any oil when running just back and forward on my hometown. And now that I do X amount of kilometers, suddenly the oil is lower. Something is wrong with my car. No, it's not. It's really just the way it is. Because remember, when you are doing just start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, your car does have a lot of cycles, heat and cold cycles. And those cycles will let humidity, sometimes even humidity from the antifreeze, and more importantly, the fuel. When you have a cold engine, more fuel can escape through the cylinder walls down into the oil pan. On that video about the thermostat, I can explain you that in more detail. It is an early video, so don't mind my poor quality of the video. Sorry about that. So what happens on the freeway is that you have a near perfect efficiency of the engine. Almost all of the fuel will be burnt on the process. Very, very little fuel will escape through the pistons down into the oil pan. And now the real consumption of oil of the car is showing its true colors because every engine, mainly turbo engines, does have oil consumption. It's just the way it is. It's made to be like that even, okay? So don't be alarmed by that. Guys, I hope you like this quick video. I'm not sure if it is a quick tip or not, or a bunch of quick tips, but here you have it. To know more about the oil replacement, the filter, those pipes for the oil radiator, I leave you up here and down on the description more links for that. I have a lot of links for other areas of the car, of the automobile, and I have links for helps for the channel to help you ultimately. See you next time, guys. Bye.